Scholars from around the world were welcomed here. The vast collection of over 500,000 manuscripts were made available to them. The Ptolemies followed some unusual procedures in their pursuit of knowledge. Every ship arriving in Alexandria had to hand over all the books on board. In return, they received copies. The library kept the originals. To Agnodike, this was paradise. Back then, no one could have imagined that not a single scroll would survive. What happened is still a mystery, but by the 7th century, the library was gone. Yet not everything was lost. Papyrus scrolls from the Ptolemaic period were discovered here in Tunis, on the edge of the desert. For 20 years now, a French-Italian team has been excavating what remains of a Ptolemaic city. In Alexandria, the past lies buried under centuries of clay and stone. Here, it's concealed just beneath the sand. But ruins are not the most exciting discovery in Tunis. The bone-dry desert air has preserved thousands of documents dating from the days of Alexandria's founding. For papyrus expert Professor Claudio Galazzi from the University of Milan, the find is a treasure trove.
The papyrus was used in Old Egypt and also in Greece and in Europe. But in Greece and in Europe, it's impossible to find papyri. As it's impossible to find papyri in Alexandria, because the humidity destroyed all this kind of material. In this small village, the sand, the desert, preserve all. For that, Tunis is one of the rare places of the Egypt where it is possible yet now to find papyri, and my mission find about 3,000 papyri.
Discoveries made here hint at the wealth of information Alexandria's great library must have contained. These documents provide a unique insight into how everyday life functioned in ancient times.
All the papyri give us a view of daily life. We have the receipt of the taxes that allows to know the name of the owner of the building. We have the account of the food bought by the family. Sometimes we have official acts of burn or dead, of marriage. We have a contract. So if you join all these texts, all this information, you can really have exact view of the life in this village 2,000 years ago.
There were no libraries in the provinces. The Tunis papyri were once stored in homes and offices. With its broad avenue, wide enough to hold processions, and its geometrically laid out streets, Tunis is reminiscent of Alexandria. And like the former capital, shows evidence of an intermingling of cultures. Greek pillars, for example, deep in the Egyptian desert. This house may have been the home of a rich merchant who made his fortune in trade along the caravan routes. Greeks who settled in Egypt in Ptolemaic times retained their Greek lifestyle. Their temple was dedicated to Hermes, messenger of the gods, and patron of merchants, thieves, and orators. public baths made life in the desert more comfortable, especially the heated floors. On the excavation site, Professor Galazzi has set up a makeshift lab to preserve fragile relics like papyrus. Only then can he and his team decipher their secrets. The texts are written both in Greek and in Demotic, the colloquial language of ancient Egypt. Back then, papyrus was mass-produced, much like today's writing paper. Most of the Teb Tunis papyri record fairly humdrum activities, sales contracts, income tax receipts, or leasing agreements. Unlike the library in Alexandria, which housed some of the greatest scholarly texts of the time, on everything from astronomy to mathematics to history, including pioneering medical treatises, which would have been extremely attractive to someone like Agnodike. But the library also guarded secrets intended for the eyes of a select few. As Agnodike knew, the famous Greek physician Herophilus was based in Alexandria. Today, he's considered to be the father of human anatomy, but in ancient times, his research methods were thought to be unorthodox. Nonetheless, Agnodike attached herself to a group of his students. The first test of her disguise and her nerve.